What is up? This is Austin Foss, writer and creator of the Sports Talk from Foss blog. If you've never met me before, this is me. Sorry if you're a little disappointed. But as opposed to writing, I can't really write anymore about the Texans than I've already said. 2-10, 10-loss season. Last week was the first week I've gotten, or yesterday I guess, was the first chance I've gotten to watch a game in almost 3 weeks now. And it's about what I expected. You know, there's no more that I'm learning about this team that I didn't already know. We got outcoached. You look at the second half adjustments that were made, and it's ridiculous that you go into the half up 17-7 and you come out and you just get killed. Tom Brady comes out and just doesn't miss a beat. I don't have the stats on me, but his second half was just incredible. I was honestly surprised whenever there's an incomplete pass, and whenever your defense is like that, it's not good. But the second half adjustments were awful, just like normal. Keenum played okay. No one really knows if he's the answer. I still don't think he is, but there's still time to decide that. But that's not what's important here. The important part is that the Texans, they have guys in the field that shouldn't be playing in the National Football League, or at least shouldn't be starting in the National Football League. And that comes down to depth. The NFL isn't like the NBA where you can go buy depth. It's not like the Major League Baseball where you can go spend a lot of money and get a backup second baseman or backup infielder or a fourth outfielder or something like that. You have to build your team through the draft. People will look at a draft and look at their first and second round pick and say, man, that was a great draft. You look at the 2007 draft, I believe, when they got Mario Williams and D'Amico Ryans in the first and second round and say, man, that's a great draft. But the way that I see it is this. The first round player especially is the guy that gets the fans into the stands on a weekly basis. Maybe the second rounder as well. But, he's the guy that's supposed to become the star that everybody wants to go and see. But the guys after that, your fourth, your fifth, your sixth, even your seventh round picks, those are the guys that build your team, that decide if you're going to be a winner or if you're going to just be a team with some really good players, but you're not a team. So, Rick Smith hasn't really done a very good job of drafting. Let's be honest. Let's go to 2009. Let's start in 2009 because at this point, all those players have ended. They've played through their rookie contracts, they've hit free agency, and it's funny to see what kind of offers have been out there for these guys. So look at 2009. They took Cushing, who's been great. Barwin, who was good. He's a good pick in the second round. Antoine Caldwell has done nothing. Clover Quinn, very good player in the fourth round. A starter at safety. Maybe middle of the road to slightly above average. But that's kind of what you look for a good fourth round pick. And then Anthony Hill, fourth round, nothing. Bust. James Casey, tight end, fifth round. Good player. Backup, second string tight end, fullback, scat back. Good pick in the fifth round. Bryce McCain, he's a guy. And sometimes that's what you need in your sixth round pick as a guy, but when you've got just a guy getting significant playing time like he is right now, it's a problem. Troy Nolan, seventh round, nothing. Seventh round pick, it's a shot in the dark, let's be honest. It's okay. It's an okay draft. You hit on Cushing, who's been in and out of the lineup since he got to the NFL. But Clover Quinn, good player, let him go. Connor Barwin, very good player, let him go. You look at 2010 with Kareem Jackson, first round pick. Showed some strides last year. This year is not very good. Ben Tate, great pick in the second round. Earl Mitchell, third round. Okay. Daryl Sharpton, fourth round. Okay, the biggest thing you look at Sherrick McManus, gone. Shelley Smith, fifth and sixth round picks, gone. Doran Dickinson, seventh round pick, gone. Trident Holiday, sixth round pick, not on the team anymore. Instead, he's flourishing in Denver. Keyshawn Martin, hello, he's not Trendon Holiday. So, that's 4 guys right there that you missed on. We had, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, so you're up to 8 in 2 seasons that you missed. That's not good. 2011, of course, J.J. Watt, first-round pick. But then it gets kind of sketchy. Brooks Reed, second-round pick. He's been, He disappears at times. Even with all that hair. Brandon Harris, another second-round pick, has been awful in the secondary. Rashad Carmichael, I don't even know if he's on the team anymore. Shiloh Ko, 5th-round pick, has done nothing. Texans fans get scared whenever he's on the field. T.J. Yates, 5th-round pick, backup quarterback is what he was drafted as, not a big deal. Derek Newton, 7th-round pick. He's not good at football. So, the fact that he's starting says a lot about this team. 2012, you look at their draft. Whitney Merciless, first-round pick, good player, starter, but hasn't really broken through yet. 3rd-round pick, Devier Posey, hasn't done a whole lot. Brandon Brooks has been okay. As a 3rd-round pick, he's probably going to start for the Texans, but not because he's been great. Ben Jones hasn't done a whole lot. 4th-round pick. Keyshawn Martin, goodness, Keyshawn Martin is not. He really should be fighting for a roster spot more than anything. Jared Crick in the 4th round has been good. Been a good rotation defensive lineman. Randy Bullock in the 5th round. Buffet Bullock has, been up and down, let's say, after being injured last year. And Nick Mundek, he's not on the team anymore. Guys from 2013 is still kind of tough to say. You look at these names and you see all the guys that you've heard say, they were okay, they were decent or whatnot. If you want to be a great team, if you want to be a Super Bowl or bust team like the Texans were saying they were these last 2 years, goodness, it seems like forever ago, you have to have guys outplay their contracts. You can't have 4th-round picks be decent. Let's go since 2010. Kareem Jackson is still on the team. Ben Tate, Earl Mitchell, Garrett Graham, and Daryl Sharpton are still on the team. So that's 5. It's not bad. A lot of these guys are still on the team, but they aren't starting. And that's a problem that Texans fans don't really see. Rick Smith, he hits these first-round picks. He does what you're supposed to do, which is get the first-round picks. But if you want to be a good GM, you have to hit the rest of your draft. There's no question about it. And that's something the Texans haven't done. Cushing goes down, and it's like our defense just falls apart. You look at the Packers when they won the championship 3 years ago, I believe. 9 guys on injured reserve by the end of the year. 9, not just 9 guys. It wasn't 9 backup players, backup offensive linemen, and backup safeties and stuff like that. Not just special teamers. Starters. 9 starters on injured reserve. And their team still won the Super Bowl. And, of course, that granted they were led by a quarterback who's probably the best in the game right now. But it speaks to their depth. It speaks to the job that their general manager, Ted Thompson, has done, drafting, building his team through the draft, finding guys that will fit their system. You look at the Patriots. Every year since 2001, it seems, we're like, the Patriots. Who's the best? Who's one of the best teams in the AFC? Oh, the Patriots. It gets boring. It really does, but they're good for a reason. It's because they draft well. They have a system. They find guys that fit their system and that will excel in their system. People always say, they've got these no-name guys that are just going to come in and play well. And yeah, it's true, but these no-name guys that they find fit their system, fit what they want to do. A linebacker that will play a 3-4 outside linebacker. And you look at guys like Brandon Spikes, great player at Florida, fell to the 2nd round, they took him. Rob Ninkovich, no one's ever heard of him until he got to the Patriots, and he started playing well because they looked at his skills and found the best way to use them. The Texans, it almost seems like the Texans kind of take the best player available rather than maybe reach for a player or trade down and get a player that would best fit whatever their system is. Maybe the problem is they don't know their system. Maybe their problem is they don't have a system. Because at 2-10, whatever their system is, it is not working. and they need a new one. But with no depth in this team, you're not going to go far, and that's something that's been proven again and again and again this year. I mean, look at yesterday. You've got guys like Shiloh Ko, Bryce McCain, Derek Newton. Gosh. I mean, Daryl Sharpton. God, these guys are guys that should be rotation defensive players at best. You know, coming in and giving a guy a breather or something like that. Maybe coming in on a nickel package or something like that, or a dime package. Not starting. And it speaks to the inability to draft well. And if you don't draft well in the NFL with the way the salary cap works and the way that the best players get paid the big money, you're not going to be successful. Maybe you'll have a 2-year window, and that's it. And right now, it almost looks like this Texans window is closing with Andre Johnson getting older. They're going to have to pay J.J. Watt if they want to keep him. He's going to command the highest salary in the NFL for a defensive player. There is no hometown discount here. He's not even from Houston, so it's going to be interesting if they don't restock their team through the draft this upcoming year, no matter where they pick. And also, this whole we should tank and get the number 1 pick and all this. No, a fan should never root for their team to lose. And just because the Texans get that high first-round pick doesn't mean they're going to make the right pick, as we've seen. Even their first-round picks haven't always panned out. J.J. Watt has, and Cushing has, and going back, obviously Andre Johnson, best player in Texans history, first-round pick. Hopkins has to a degree, but there's no guarantee they'll hit that pick. And you're not teaching your players how to win, how to close out a game, how to win a game that they shouldn't win or something like that. If they don't learn now, they're never going to learn, and they're always going to have a losing mentality. So depth is a problem that nobody really seems to think about when it comes to the Texans. Just I encourage you to look through their drafts. Outside of maybe the first or second round picks, tell me how many of these guys you've actually heard of. How many of these guys you've heard make plays? Because the key to a good team is having guys outplay their contracts. And guys like Connor Barwin did that, and James Casey did that, and Glover Quinn did that, and signed big contracts somewhere else. That's it. That's 3. 3 guys have outplayed their contracts since 2010. That's not good enough. That's not going to win you a championship. It's that simple. The same problems with the Texans persisted before. They can't block for Case Keenum. Their offensive line is porous at best. And because of that, we don't know if Keenum's the answer or not. He's at least earned his way into a backup role in the NFL, if not with the Texans, with somebody, and I applaud him for that. But nobody knows if he's the next Texans starting quarterback. No one knows. I'm still inclined to say the answer is no, but if they bring him back next year as a backup, perfect. That's perfect. He's gonna fight for the starter's job and really make it a competition, do everything he can to make it a competition and try to prove that he deserves that spot, which is what you want from a backup quarterback. Defensive secondary, again, was bad. Don't know if it's the scheme. Like I said, it's part of its talent. They brought in Ed Reed. He's gone. They brought in Daniel Manning. He's hurt. They brought in Jonathan Joseph. He's been okay. He had an interception yesterday, but he hasn't been great. He's getting older. So this team is getting older, and unless they start drafting better starting next year, they're probably not going to be getting a whole lot better. Maybe they'll be better record-wise in 2-10. But gosh, with the way the Texans front office has been drafting, and maybe by next draft they'll have a different front office. I kind of hope they do. They have a different, what's called, quote-unquote regime. But we'll have to wait and see. So, in summation, until the Texans draft better, they're not going to be they're not going to be as good as they want to be. Injuries happen in the NFL. It's a question of how well you're able to come back from those injuries. And the Texans can't handle injuries because they don't have depth at key positions. Along the offensive line, they don't have any. Linebacking core, they have none. Secondary, they have none. And that's not how you can win. So, you've seen the Texans on the field. You don't need to hear about the Texans on the field anymore. It's a travesty to watch. The very least, their game is on NFL Network this Thursday, a station that a lot of people don't have. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. I'll let you choose. By the way, the Jaguars have a better record than the Texans this year, so we've got that going for us. Since Rick Smith and Gary Kubiak took over, we're 20th in win percentage in the whole NFL, and we're on a 10-game losing streak. So I'd be very surprised if they're back next year, but that's another topic for another day. I hope you enjoy this podcast rather than writing. I'm at a point where I can't even write about the Texans anymore without just getting infuriated, so didn't really want to do that. So look forward to doing this again or writing to y'all again. Until next time, thank you.